In the world of U.S. politics, few appointments can generate as much controversy as the head of the FBI. The Federal Bureau of Investigation has long been a symbol of law enforcement impartiality and a critical agency in maintaining the rule of law. Yet, President-elect Donald Trump's announcement that he intends to nominate Kash Patel to lead the agency has sparked a political firestorm. Patel, a former Trump administration official, is a staunch critic of the FBI, and his appointment raises questions about the agency's future, its independence, and the broader implications for U.S. democracy. This video will explore who Kash Patel is, the political context of his nomination, and the potential ramifications for the FBI and American law enforcement. With Patel's vocal criticisms of the FBI's handling of investigations related to Trump, his nomination as FBI director has brought with it debates about the role of the agency, the potential for political bias, and the consequences of installing a loyalist into such an important position. Supporters of Patel argue that he will restore accountability and combat corruption within the FBI, but his critics worry that the agency will become further politicized, undermining public trust in law enforcement. We'll explore Patel's career, his controversial views on the FBI, and how this nomination fits into Trump's broader agenda. We'll also take a look at the implications for the FBI, from its history as an independent agency to the current state of political polarization. Finally, we'll analyze what this move means for U.S. democracy, the rule of law, and public trust in government institutions. Kash Patel is a figure whose political career has been heavily defined by his strong loyalty to former President Donald Trump and his outspoken criticism of the FBI. Patel's background reveals a trajectory that has placed him at the intersection of intelligence, law enforcement, and partisan politics. Understanding Patel's rise to prominence helps us understand why his nomination as FBI director is so controversial. Kash Patel began his professional life in law, earning a law degree and working as a prosecutor. His early career in government saw him transition to Capitol Hill, where he became a key staffer for Representative Devin Nunes, a Republican from California. Nunes, who chaired the House Intelligence Committee during Trump's presidency, played a central role in the investigation into the origins of the Russian interference inquiry. Patel was deeply involved in this investigation, specifically in efforts to expose what he and Nunes saw as FBI misconduct related to the dossier compiled by former British intelligence officer Christopher Steele. The release of the Nunes memo in 2018, which accused the FBI of misusing surveillance powers against Trump campaign associate Carter Page, became one of Patel's defining moments. Patel's time working for Nunes laid the groundwork for his subsequent roles in the Trump administration. In 2017, he was appointed to the National Security Council, NSC, as a senior director for counterterrorism. In this role, Patel focused on national security issues, advising Trump on counterterrorism matters, intelligence operations, and international security policies. His loyalty to Trump was evident, and Patel's time at the NSC was marked by a fierce commitment to Trump's foreign policy agenda. In 2019, Patel was appointed to the position of Chief of Staff at the Department of Defense, where he continued to align himself with Trump's views on defense and intelligence. Patel's involvement in the Trump administration was always steeped in controversy, as he frequently sided with the president on politically sensitive issues. He earned a reputation for being an unwavering supporter of Trump's interests, often battling against what he saw as biased intelligence agencies. One of the most contentious aspects of Patel's career has been his outspoken criticism of the FBI. Patel has consistently argued that the agency has been politically biased, particularly in its investigations of Trump and his associates. In 2020, Patel went as far as to describe the FBI as part of a deep state that was actively undermining Trump's presidency. He also advocated for sweeping reforms of the FBI, suggesting that parts of it were too corrupt to function properly. This included his provocative statement that the FBI headquarters in Washington, D.C., should be repurposed as a museum of the deep state. Patel's criticism of the FBI is framed within his broader political beliefs. As someone who has consistently aligned himself with Trump's populist agenda, Patel views the FBI as an institution that has been hijacked by elites working against the will of the people. He sees himself as a reformer who will work to expose the agency's flaws and bring accountability to the organization. For his supporters, Patel represents the kind of change necessary to restore integrity to a compromised institution. However, For many others, his nomination raises red flags about the future of the FBI's impartiality and the potential for politicization of law enforcement. Kash Patel's potential nomination as FBI director is not just a personnel decision. It represents a significant shift in how the agency could be led and perceived. The FBI, an agency traditionally known for its independence and nonpartisan approach to law enforcement, could face dramatic changes under Patel's leadership. Understanding the significance of this nomination requires examining the broader political context and the potential implications for the FBI's future. Donald Trump's approach to reshaping the federal government during his presidency often involved placing loyalists in key positions of power. This was part of his broader Drain the Swamp agenda, which sought to reform or dismantle what Trump and his supporters saw as a politically entrenched bureaucracy resistant to his policies. The FBI was one of the agencies most frequently criticized by Trump, particularly during investigations into Russian interference in the 2016 election and the ensuing inquiries into potential obstruction of justice. Patel's nomination fits neatly into Trump's vision of remaking the government to serve his interests and challenge what he viewed as deep state institutions. By nominating Patel, Trump aims to put someone at the helm of the FBI who shares his distrust of the agency and his desire for reform. Patel's strong political allegiance to Trump, coupled with his history of questioning the FBI's role in investigating the president, makes him an ideal candidate in the eyes of Trump supporters. They view Patel as a defender of Trump's presidency who can rein in the FBI and restore balance to the agency. The FBI is one of the most powerful law enforcement agencies in the world, and its director is a highly influential figure. The agency's credibility depends on its ability to operate independently, free from political interference. The FBI's investigations often involve high-profile cases that can have national security implications, and its work has historically been seen as impartial. However, the nomination of Patel raises concerns about whether that tradition will continue. Patel's history of politicizing the FBI raises alarms about potential conflicts of interest and the agency's future autonomy. Critics argue that Patel's tenure could lead to a politicized FBI, where investigations into Trump's rivals are pursued with the same zeal as those involving his allies. Such a shift could undermine the public's trust in the FBI, leading to concerns that law enforcement decisions are driven by partisan politics rather than a commitment to justice. On the other hand, Democrats and critics of Trump's policies have voiced concerns about the dangers of placing a loyalist at the helm of such an important agency. Many fear that Patel's leadership could lead to political interference in FBI investigations, particularly those involving Trump's political opponents. There are also worries about the erosion of the FBI's nonpartisan standing, which could damage its credibility and effectiveness. The Federal Bureau of Investigation plays a central role in the United States criminal justice system, tasked with investigating federal crimes, national security threats, and other high-profile matters. The agency's independence has long been viewed as critical to ensuring that it operates without political interference. However, the debate over the FBI's role has become increasingly polarized in recent years, particularly during the Trump era. The FBI was established in 1908 with the goal of investigating federal crimes and maintaining national security. Its mission has expanded over time, and it has played key roles in investigating organized crime, domestic terrorism, and national security threats. The agency has also been involved in several controversial episodes in U.S. history, including COINTELPRO, a covert FBI program aimed at surveillance and disruption of civil rights organizations and left-wing groups during the 1960s and 1970s. Despite these controversies, the FBI has generally been regarded as a protector of the rule of law. However, in recent years, the agency has faced significant public scrutiny, particularly due to its involvement in the investigation into Russian interference.